Thank you for following Beast GM Chess. Welcome. Who else did we get 3 minutes ago? Crazy. That was even before I even started the stream. Out of your way. All right. Jessie February. What does she play? You know, I'm going to go with the Queen's Gambit in her honor. Just because. Seems like the thing to do, right? It does seem like the thing to do. Welcome, everyone. January 27th. Oh, that's unfortunate. Where's my opponent? He's really not online. He had to have been here in order to get paired. Did he run away? That's very strange. I'll take it. Listening to the Perpetual Chess Podcast. The current episode I'm up to is about 115, re-listening to all of them. This is Grandmaster, I think 115 is Grandmaster Mikhail Krisenkov. So this is this first edition was printed in 2019, which means basically that the interview and the Perpetual Chess Podcast took place at exactly the same time. The Perpetual Chess Podcast is my main listening at the moment. The exceptional Perpetual Chess Podcast. Uh-oh. Conte de Luna. This seems very out of place, by the way. Doesn't this seem very out of place? Should I play it that way? That's craziness. Isn't that some craziness? Well, I kind of like the idea of keeping the bishop on b2 out of the game. Now for something relevant but different. Inside me, but I can't come alive. 'Cause every part of us is behind me, and it's too late to fight. When will you come alive? When I turn out the lights, I can't turn off my mind. Your memory remains, it's stronger every day. There's nowhere I can hide. got more where that came from. Although I'm not entirely sure where I'm headed on this one. I have to take the 3-piece, don't I? How many pawns does he get? He gets 3 pawns for the piece. That much is true. That much is true. How many more pawns can I give him? We need to be able to stop him up. Can I do that? No, huh? One more pawn? How many pawns do I have here? Let's see. 2 pawns versus 6 pawns. It's 4 pawns for the piece. It's not a good thing, right? Well, I'm not done with you yet. We'll know in just a moment if he was watching the stream. 3 degrees away from GM. Indeed. Almost allowed a little bit of a mistake. Just a little bit of a mistake. Let's go this way. Can I go that way? Calm. Calm, calm, calm. Skokie bot. 3 degrees away from GM Magnus Carlsen, really, in Blitz. That is amazing, Skokie bot. Dimpool, you are amazing. Hold on, I have to give you a shout out. Dimpool also streams, and he is the creator. Sorry, I didn't see you right before. It's only been 8 minutes. This is terrible. This is one of the reasons why us older streamers struggle with chat. I was busy taking care of my opponent, I agree. Degrees apostolate. No, thank you. That was quite amazing. Hey, pasta. What are you doing, sir? Does he have that? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, make my day. We're going that way. We're going that way. I'm nothing but a heartache. He attacks my bishop. I get to attack 2 pieces in a row when he takes f6. So he knows the story. He also knows that his entire world is falling apart after knight d5, bishop d5, knight takes b5, because he doesn't have queen a5 check or any other form of counterplay. Let's not hang a queen here, just in case. We are going to have some fun, booby. The power of knight c3. Let's get our king safe, just in case we need it. His knight on b8 has a lot of lovely choices, and I think the knight on d7 has the same number of lovely choices. Wow, he brought my rook into the game? Remind me to send this guy a Christmas card. At quick chess. Apostolette is 3 degrees away from Magnus Carlsen in Bullet. So I'm 3 degrees away from him in Blitz. Mad quick chess in the house. Am I really 2183? How far did my rating fall when I played a couple games yesterday at school? Nice. Yeah, I've had those moments where I'm very plus, and then I realized that I should have probably walked away at that moment and chilled and just called it a day. But we want to press on our good fortune. And in fact, the overconfidence bleeds off and skims off the top of our profits there. It's crazy, right? Where is Tal Pacino? I think Tal Pacino is not awake yet. Collaboration with Rogan Joe Sloan in the works. I can only imagine Quadraspassky streaming. Oh, yeah. Even in practice this morning, I had to fold a straight to a flush. Just the way he played the hand, he rivers the flush. I had flopped the straight. I pressed. I think I bet 2/3 of a pot. It was insane for him to call if that was his hand, but he called. And then he got a second diamond on the. No, that's right. There was nothing. So he was on a flush draw at that moment. And I did not press hard enough on the turn. Now that I think about it, I thought I was reeling him in because the board had no texture other than my flop on the straight. Hold him. Just practice. All right, I'm going to try a new move order. MD Knight in the house. One of my favorite, absolute favorite players. I'm going to experiment with this opening mainly because one of my students is playing it. And he's playing it with a new wrinkle. In the advent of the Caruana Carlson match. So here's the secret, everybody. If you can actually do the investigation with me. Lauren J.W. So this is the investigation my student had. All of the kids are used to this line in the Sveshnikov, right? Like if I played knight f6, we'd be in the Sveshnikov. However, now we're in the Sveshnikov and no one can play the Caruana line with knight d5. Now this is slightly worse for black, but so is everything else. It's like 0.5 for white. A half of a pawn better for white. Did you get to the decision making with Ganguly? He's very rude, actually, a little bit arrogant. To be outing students or former students like that. And so, on the other half of the coin, everybody can see how Sam Shanklin may or may not be affected by this now. Should I just go for it? I should. Because if Sam Shanklin has this issue, where all of his successes are going to be attributed to Yakov Ogard. Oh yeah, the Tanya Sachdev story. So if you listen to 108, Tanya Sachdev tells that story on her own. Absolutely hysterical story. And I knew he was going to say that. As a trainer, I knew he was going to say that. And I was thinking it before she actually went to him and said, oh, this camp is too hard for me. I'm not solving any of the exercises. I don't know what I'm doing here. Yada, yada, yada. So should I be concerned?
This nation owes you a huge debt.
Thank you for following. Oh my God, did we make 50? We made 50. I have to get those gift subs out right after this game. If any other followers want to be in the mix, now is the time. So am I worried about this rook? That is the question. Am I worried about this rook? So knight takes e4, bishop to b6. This is a little bit of calculation for Lauren here. You know what? We're just going to play normal chess and see what my opponent does. I might be offering my opponent a draw here. Uh-oh. That's craziness. I have to bother his knight. Now that there's a pawn on c4, we're going to take the pawn on e4 now. So I was offering him a draw if he played bishop to g5 in the last move instead of at c4. The draw I was offering was bishop g5, queen a5 check, bishop d2, queen d8. MD knight. That's absolutely the best thing you can do. Join the arena for just a few games. So what am I doing here, and what does it all mean? I'm up a pawn. Am I losing any other pawns? Let's batten down the hatches on this side of the board. I'm not planning on castling anytime soon. But I do want to threaten that bishop pair. I do want to get my f-pawn rolling. I do want to prevent bishop to g5, pinning my knight, so I'm not going back to f6. That was never an option. So now, for the most part, do we try to create some holes in the king side with b3, bishop takes c5? Or do we just continue our development? All right, now the moment of truth. Let's go for it. I have to consider this, mainly because the only things that can happen to me on the queen side are bad. So there are no in-between moves here. It's true, but I need more simplifying. Do I need more simplifying? Bishop takes d5. Rook takes d5. I realize that d4 is covered way too many times. So it's unfortunate that d4 is covered so many times. Still needing to batten down the hatches on my dark squares. Now we have an outpost square for our knight. Uh-oh. How much trouble am I in? I do have bishop to d7, but I need to keep the e file closed. Out of dodge, having avoided queen a4. I'm afraid the world might be falling, though. I'm very afraid the world might be falling. Getting lucky. MD Knight, nothing personal. This is just business. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. I did offer him a draw in the beginning. I don't have the ability to offer a draw by pushing a button. Chess for feel. Hold on, let me just pause for 1 second and get those 5 gifted subs out. How do I get those 5 gifted subs out? I closed my usual route. Can I do gift? I cannot do gift. Can I do gift? Can I do it as a command? No, I have to actually go to the, I have to actually go to my channel. Real quick. And do it the old-fashioned way. I believe.
No foreplay.
Pierce Brosnan, thank you very much. The Welsh Canadian Rubenho, Darkblade, Quadraspassky, and Heatonheimers. I can't think of 5 more regular guys than that. Rubenho, for those of you who don't realize it, is part of our Legends series, having been the first to gift 10,000 bits on stream. And then it was followed by Logic, who gifted, and then it was followed by Pegasus, who gifted. No, Pegasus sort of gifted, didn't quite gift 10K. He gifted enough, though, to put himself ahead or within contention of first place. Pegasus is leading Logic. I really don't know what to do about some of these guys, right? All right, one more game, just to keep Conta de Luna from catching up with me. Or do we call it a day? Trick E. I wanted to do a Mikhail Krasenkov speed run, but I could easily do the Magnus Carlsen speed run. Unfortunately, my co-teacher today wants me to check in, and I do want to do that. Yes, Skakibot. I need to create a command. How come you're not a mod? What am I doing? Sorry, Dimple. I modded you so you can create a command so that I can promote it. I don't necessarily know how to put it on a timer either. I want it to come up as frequently as possible in the stream. You're the best person. Oh no! Not my most feared. What am I going to do? Alright, we're going to try out the... Yes. No, welcome aboard. I gave you a sword. Please create a... Skocky... Oh, yeah, because if I create a Skakibot command, I'm worried... I don't know what to say, honestly. I'm always... It'll take me a day to create the command to absolutely come up with it. Then I want it to come up again and again in the stream. Cheers! Oh, MD Knight. Gifting that sub. Namaste. Namaste. I appreciate you as the definition of namaste, rather than greetings or salut or good health or... So now... Oh, I need to do this first. This is my student's novelty, by the way. This is my student's novelty in its first outing. He did pretty well with it. And I have no qualms about the Sveshnikov in many ways. Just a very natural development in this line. This is one of the reasons why nobody plays this particular line as much anymore. But Lauren had the chance to lock down on the white squares. But she has made how many knight moves in the first 12 moves? A lot. She's made a lot of knight moves in the first 12 moves. Thank you for the follow, for the hymns and hiss of a bird. I've already handed out, amazingly enough, 5 gifted subs to our most diligent. Now, that is crazy, though, MD Knight. Cheers. I appreciate you making sure you get him, because do we do the MD Knight? Is he within degrees of Magnus Carlsen? Hold on here. I wish I had touch screens on both, but I don't know how to work that. Do I have a choice here? I don't have a choice here. Oh, sorry. I didn't really realize I took my queen and tried to put it on F5. Can I go this way? I'm gonna go this way. A la Magnus Carlsen. So now the moment of truth.
They probably don't know you.
Getting into a little bit of a roadblock jam here. Maybe I want to do something else with this. We're just going to put our pieces on good squares and let our opponent be the first person to exchange. It is very important to be the first person, to make sure that you are not the first person to exchange pieces.
I know that you want it, I can see. Now that you wasted on me. Think it's a bird around. Still come close, racing. It's a wild.
I don't know if this helped me or not. But it's definitely time for a rook lift, if there ever was one.
So we'll be out of sight.
Are we active enough now?
Sleep in the ocean, come with me. Rush in the water.
Looks like we're active enough.
Into the water.
The gathering storm.
Racing, it's a wild. Stick to the weight of this skin. The truth is closer. You're bright in the light. We're moving through me. They're gonna night, so we'll be out of sight.
Uh-oh. This looks like a mistake. But is it? I don't know. I can't make up my mind if it's a mistake. But we'll find out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There, you got me. Ah, but it didn't go on record. Whew. Namaste, Lauren. You got me. I should have played Queen E8. Let's act like it happens all the time, eh? Oh, you created some problems. You did really well. I've never felt so happy and so perturbed at the same time. My training worked. I've been training since before you were born, Lauren. It's okay. Unlike a lot of the other guys. Nice job. Somehow I managed to stay ahead of the crowd. This is the first time I finished in first place in a long time. But really, I've been training since before most of the trainers today were born. And there are so many trainers out there, not unlike chess coach Andres, who are really well qualified and really good trainers. But they started training because they couldn't play chess anymore. They started out thinking they were going to be world champions. I never had a delusion that I was going to be a world champion. I always knew from my first student that I enjoyed teaching and training. And if you become super great, I win. If you become super great, Lauren, then I am a world champion. And hoping to help you. That's the important part. Yeah, so many coaches out there. So let's see here. Degrees. I need, well, Lauren probably doesn't have them, but I wanted to see Ron Hay. Or is there a cooldown on this Skocky bot? How do we do it, Dimpool? Thank you so much, buddy. I know you are the man. I am so in envy of your programming abilities, and not only that, but you're a current programmer. If you didn't know my backstory, I was a Visual Studio Windows programmer around Y2K, and I worked for a mutual fund where we had to basically run through the code, test things, prove things, and make sure that nothing was going to go wrong. We were also trying to convert all of our dates from 2-digit dates to 4-digit dates before the Y2K crisis hit. And I was very happy working at that firm. It was really awesome. But somewhere around February or March, I can't remember where it was. Really? So you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I had trying to think of what everything that I worked with in. Mostly Access on occasion for the report writing. I would use Access for the report outputs and things like that, just because it was so simple and straightforward. It was the fastest, most efficient way to do it at the time. At the time in Y2K. And then they offered me a package because we had some extra programmers. They offered me, among others, the chance to, a nice large check and getting out of the business. So I immediately left. Well, I didn't immediately leave. I molded over. Vincent Kamer. Ron Hay is 4 degrees away from Magnus Carlsen in Blitz. Yeah, I realized that, Dimpool. He's 4 degrees away. 4 degrees away. So there's a theory, Pegasus, that you are 6, the SharePoint with the online browser version for Office, and then for their business software Dynamics. Oh man, Dimpool, you're amazing. You might be the guy to write my my Dojo training program that I've always wanted to do, but really I think my Dojo training program app would go within the scope of aim chess, not aim chess, but within the scope of Chessable. I've always tried to make it work within their framework, but I should talk to you about it. And actually, you have the ability to make it even better than I thought it could be. Oh yeah, you read about that one, or did you see the movie? I believe the movie was called, with the 3 African American women who were in the space program, one of which was a really super mathematician. No, I know, I'm not saying that. I see that. Yes, CockyBot is pretty darn amazing. Especially with the degrees. That's, I mean, for it to dig up all of the thing. Oh, let's check out our game. Per Lauren's request. So in this particular line, by the way, the first outing with this line, one of my students was playing a younger player, of course, who was given the moves by his coaches. So here's the story, the backstory on this opener. Normally the Sveshnikov is played in this manner. Well, not that manner. In this manner. Hold on, let's put this into the study with viewer games. Viewer studies. Here we go. You're really on a run. You just got a turkey. You got 3 out of the lot. You got 3 out of 3 for the most recents. It's not the Kalashnikov anymore. No, it's the Sveshnikov. You transposed into the Sveshnikov. Yeah, black's not supposed to play knight f6, otherwise it becomes Sveshnikov. So let's see where we could end up, right? So here's the story. Normally black plays d6 and Fabiano Caruana would play knight d5. And so one of my students earlier this week ran into somebody who had prepped this line against the Sveshnikov. And the line usually runs yada yada, and Magnus Carlsen played knight to b8 for the first several games of the match in 2018. And in the 12th game, Magnus Carlsen played knight to e7 and went on to develop a large advantage, which he chose to draw in order to reach the tiebreaker. So there was a little bit of a skew there. So if you can imagine that that is the main line. Now, my student earlier in the week, if not by accident, plays this line and gets to this position, and instead of playing b5, which is the old main line, and Lauren is saying bishop e7 at this very moment, which could well be the case, that is better. I haven't really looked into bishop e6 lines, even though the statistics look good among the masters. But knight f6 is not supposed to be good for black. So anyway, my student Lauren this morning ran into the fellow. He knows he's supposed to play knight d5 against this line. So his opponent played knight takes knight to d5, and he played. Nice. I definitely ran into somebody who knew what they were doing, and that's exactly what I wanted. Even though I think I escaped, I did not play the attack right. Yeah. So my student runs into this line, right? He's like, you've got so many kids out there who've been prepped with knight d5 against the Sveshnikov. Now you just put them in limbo, right in between the Sveshnikov and they have to think for themselves. So, yeah, so he went on to win the game handily against a much higher rated opponent. I can't believe, because he's around 1700, he's playing a higher rated opponent. And he just basically takes their pawn. I don't know if they were flustered or what, and it was a slow time control, and it was a FIDE rated game. Which is crazy. I am bringing that up in the Windows dim pool. The world of Skakibat. I cannot wait. I know I have underutilized Skakibat. I will be the first to admit it. I am the first. Uh-oh. Did I drop a frame? No. I thought for a moment that I had dropped a frame. Good morning, Ezra. Only thing worse than not knowing an opening. Well, I'm on the other side of the coin there, Lauren. Just like this game where you outplayed the daylights out of me, I would say that most of the openings can be figured out in the slower time controls. I would say that in faster time controls, what you've said is true. If you're playing an opening in a fast time control with half of a knowledge of theory, it is far worse than anything. Yeah, but I think half knowing theory in a very slow game can get you there. You just can't. Yeah, that is true. But if that's assuming that you are an openings player, I think if you let... Yeah, well, I don't know if it's fine. It's definitely not completely fine, but I know it's more fine because I lived that way most of my life. Like, literally, I know a considerable amount of every opening, and I'm not even sure what I know is 1/3 of the knowledge of what Caruana knows about all those openings. Right? Like, who am I comparing the half to? Who am I comparing that half to? And I'm positive that so we end up transposing. It still thinks it's a Kalashnikov over here, even though we reached the main line of this variation fairly quickly. And knight c4 was the move that I was expecting, by the way. Knight c3 is a little unusual. b5 is usually already in, so we're still out of the Sveshnikov, I think. Are we still out of the Sveshnikov? Hold on, I need to compare this line for a moment. I believe we're still out of the Sveshnikov. Bishop g5, a6, knight a3, b5, knight d5. Aha! And this is the line that you know. So we're still not there. Yeah, I'm going knight. I should be going knight e7 and knight g6 faster than I did. But you were keeping me busy on the b6 square and the dark squares. So I couldn't lift my queen out or anything. So I was like, I don't know. So in any event, yeah, this is the Sveshnikov. The Lasker Pelikan, as I learned it. I learned it originally as the Lasker Pelikan. Then Sveshnikov came around. And I actually had this line against someone earlier. So do I want to return to this theory or don't I? That is the question. Now, previously, Pegasus had said that the stream was choppy when I was playing music. I'm curious if it's still choppy. I'm wondering if it's still choppy because this song is not allowed. I know I didn't have B5. That's good to know. I'm worried that it was just one. Yeah, I thought so. So here we go, Pegasus. I'm just wondering. Oh, uh-oh. Hold on, that's it. Now we're back. Now it should not be choppy. So for a long time, I had killed the music. And the real reason how those other streamers like Numsco and Chessbra and all those other guys, they have music on their stream. Yes, and now it's not choppy. The music is cutting in and out. That is the choppy part. So the problem is that they have to listen to the music on their earbuds, and the music cannot play so that it affects the microphone. So if I were to have music, I would literally have to plug in to the Blue Yeti, just like Nemsco and everyone else does. I would have to have earbuds to have the music. And it'll be on a separate track so it can be cut out by Twitch and or YouTube. Because literally then the 6 tracks that are being produced with the 2 different audio tracks for voice and music, and then there's a 3rd track for sound alerts and all of that. Everything can be edited separately. So meanwhile, getting back to our game. So this is the other main difference. Bishop takes f6, knight to g5, yada yada yada. So yeah, knight to c4 is possible for you, Lord, and you can actually take this shortcut. Now, honestly, I don't know if knight to d4 is such a threat. Let's take a quick peek here. I don't normally consult this guy. So, bishop g5 and b5 are of equal value. If I play b5, c3 becomes a real move. Bishop g5, knight to c4, bishop e6, knight on c to b6. Uh-oh. Therein lies the difference. You can always evict my knight later. But I've got a serious weakness on e6. That is the problem. And I'm going to be giving up the bishop, my lovely bishop pair that I thought I was getting. So I was going to skip forward in this line, where white is plus almost on his way to a clear advantage. So you could have taken advantage of the difference in the position with knight to c4. Castles was too early on my part. Rook to b8. I considered bishop e6. I did just want to get on with it. So castles could get me into trouble. Bishop e6, knight e7, bishop. I don't know if I like that line, but it looks pretty good. So I shouldn't be opening up myself to this attack so soon. I should wait until your king has decided itself. I started the attack before you castled, right? Thinking that I could get something on your king because he's in the center. I wasted a thought. No, that's definitely happened. I don't know if I would say that I got dominated on my dark squares. I definitely got taken advantage of on my dark squares. So I'm a little concerned about the... Yeah, I've tried that. Right now I'm on an omnidirectional microphone that's coming just toward me. But unfortunately, the way the acoustics in this room are, I think it's just the positioning of the speaker being to the left of the PC. That is internally really right. Wow. Got an audio master, because there's a couple of phrases in there that I have not heard outside of a how to set your microphone video. You're replying to Paul. Oh, wait a minute. Is Paul 1e4 here? 1 second. Yes, he is. Good morning, Paul 1e4. I didn't realize that wasn't you because you had Lauren. I always feel like you should put the at to someone at the end of the question because sometimes I get it mixed up with the person that is sending the comment. So it's Paul 1e4, Lauren JW33, and I only saw the Lauren JW33 because she stood out in that series of It is great to see you, Paul. So I was testing out a new novelty here, and I'll probably No, of course, the two bishop advantage is negated by the weak d5 square and the blockaded backward d6 pawn, and you have a great bishop. So in this particular position, I really considered knight a5. This is one where I really considered it. I also considered f takes e4 in some of these positions, but you took right away, so that leaves only knight a5, which leaves me, I don't know, a little bit askew. I also considered b5 in this position. b5 in this position, and if bishop to b3, maybe that's what I should have done. So up here you can see that they only go bishop d3. So b5, if you're really insistent on keeping it on that diagonal, then I get to scarf the bishop with knight a5, which is my plan. Nevertheless, the bishop takes f5 is, according to this thing, very equal. Probably transposes to normal theory. Call me old-fashioned. I would call you a student of Teresh, which is the same thing. He is a bit from that particular century. The dynamics of the d6 pawn are weighed out by the prospects on the king side, I have to admit. So what happens here? Let's just see what's going on. So obviously, this was a really lame move. Bishop e6 was actually one of the first moves that occurred to me, and just keeping the bishop pair is key. That is what I should have done. And now I know it for fact. I literally gave away my bishop pair and a huge, and gave up a huge amount of squares so that you could bother me on those squares. So I was under the delusion that I was doing okay. And now I'm doing okay again. Knight to g6, yes. Queen to d2, and queen to g5 should have been played right away. Queen h4 also occurred to me. So in this position, queen h4 is probably a better prospect because of the bothersome nature on the bishop. Was there room for f3? This was also a move that I really wanted to play, but I didn't necessarily want to give up the possibilities here. So this is how I should have played it. I should have followed through on my idea. So in this previous position, I actually thought you were going to play f3. After knight d5, knight g6. Yes, I thought you were going to play f3 here. And it would have been good for you. You could have stopped the whole attack. You can save one. Saw this game live. Think for Queen C5. Yeah. You are being mated actually after this, though. If you don't move this pawn and you play Queen D2, I feel like you're getting mated. G3 is forced. Knight E5 gaining time. You may need to give up the bishop with Queen D4. Can you play Knight E3? This was another move that I didn't necessarily like by playing it so soon. Wow. What a move. What a move. I feel like I should be doing a Christopher Walken impression. Yes, I agree, Pegasus. I did ultimately get it in. So Queen G5 here. And I was concerned that F3 would be played, obviously. And I didn't think that Knight H4 would give me anything just yet. I was still trying to get toward the D3 square. I wanted to weaken the D3 square. Perhaps it was just better to go this way. So you can see where my plan was going. I was going toward the D3 square with Knight E5, but I wanted to play Knight E5. I wanted to eliminate the tension on my pawn on F4. So bishop D7 again eliminates the pressure here. Possibly reroutes the bishop to another square. Bishop E6 okay? I guess it thinks it is. It has finally returned to my Queen G5 at the top of the lineup. F3 and King H1 are recommended. And even here, I did not play Knight H4. I played F3 first, but I should have played Knight H4. And now with F3, I get away with this. 3 pieces attacking. And the knight has no squares. That's craziness. It's being attacked 3 times, defended twice, and it has no squares. I'm getting lucky here, Lauren. Well, you're absolutely correct. I'm afraid that I sort of thought the same thing. If I do not checkmate you, I am not winning the endgame. That much is true, which is why I threw away the pawn. I threw away the pawn, so this is absolutely correct. Knight H4 should be absolutely correct. All right, I take it back. It's clearly better for black. I don't really like black is better. I think it should be more. In any event, going back to throwing away the pawn, I did have the discovery. I was focused on this one, but I failed to see that one. Why did I not see that one? I was looking at the discovery. I thought that you could not play Queen F3. And I was focused on this discovery, and my timing was way off. So I play this move in order to go Bishop D3. You oppose queens. I'm down a pawn. It's actually not that bad. I know the computer thinks that it's completely lost, but it's not that bad. Not that bad, John. It's not that bad. John Fedorowicz. Not that bad, John. Think you might have something here. So, life is getting tough. Yeah, this was what I was looking at. I also looked at this move. My rook is overworked, actually. I have to stay guarding the knight while this one continues across to bother me. The other move I considered was rook e7 in this position as well. Rook e7, when I played knight c4, I basically opened the door to e7. Well, I definitely played something that I did not know, because it's all novelty. So queen takes d6 and queen e8 was my next move. And for whatever reason, I was trying to see if I could get away with queen g5 again, but then my rook is hanging. So I didn't really have a choice here. And this is tactics training here. I just need to play the move that I need to play. And the only move that I have in this position is queen to e8. But I flagged. I thought I could think. I'm spoiled by the rapid time controls. Hold on. Bishop c2, queen g3, f takes g3. Hold on. I'm turning that off. Wait. So, bishop c2, queen g3, queen g3, f g3. Oh, I have to play this. Bishop takes d1. Compensation. Not a worry. Yeah, it's been there for a while. It was there in the other line. That's why when my knight disappeared and went on a sojourn, and then she reached the final position where she is playing queen takes d6, I thought I could play queen g5 for a brief moment, and I knew my rook wasn't attacked. So that's what caused me to flag, actually. The knight not being on g6 actually caused me to flag in this position because I wanted to play this move, and I realized I have no thing covering my rook, so I just had to play queen e8. Very silly of me. So I flagged, and my rating tanked. I need to reset the follower goal here. Quick, quick, quick. Quick, quick, quick. I really should do it every 25 follows. Yeah, that's true. No, I don't really believe that you ever lose rating points. Whatever your rating is, whatever your strength is, it just returns like the temperature of the day. Cold wind comes by, gets chilly, returns to the temperature of the day. Ratings are like the weather. They come and they go. No, thank you, Lauren. No, that's not true. I play all the theory. But I have no idea what I'll be playing at any given moment. It's true. Charles followed me. Pioneer Chess School. I actually want to revive the Pioneer house concept in the free world. That's another thing in the back of my mind that I would like to do. Basically, the Pioneers' Palaces. B5 in the Caro is an age-old concept. It just isn't played by top players very often. It has been played in the bullet events. I think that's where I saw it last by... It wasn't Magnus Carlsen. It was somebody in the tournament that Magnus Carlsen was playing in, one of those titled arenas. And when he played B5, I'm like, oh yeah, there's always that move. Because I like to play G6 against Knight C3. But B5 is very similar. It's in the old book by Swayton. Alexa, turn on Dojo. Oh. Isn't it an amazing world that we live in? That we just ask for the lights to be on, and the lights are on. Let's see who he gives credit to. Oh no, it was Varnus. Was it Varnus? Or was it Swayton? Where's my Swayton book? Let's find out. I'm pretty sure it's in here, but I believe it's in the Swayton book as well. Of course, they discounted on positional grounds, which is understandable. Play the Caro-Kann. This is a brand new edition of this book that I recently purchased. My old one fell apart. I literally had gone through it, and my old one fell apart. So the original Caro and earlier deviations, 40. So do we have the earlier deviations? Nope. It's possible he doesn't have it here. Blumik, Alekhine, Poland, 1941. So the way this book is set up, he introduces all of the ideas of the opening, and then he gives the illustrative games. So I think I'm going to have to return to this one. So he'll give the Bronstein variation. Bronstein, Larsen, G takes F6 of the mainline Caro. And then he gives Bialek, Bronstein, Bellon, Larsen, Peters, Saruan, 1984, Rodriguez, Petiers, and Brown, Bellon. I'm not sure if Bellon is the same Bellon, but I believe it is, who is Anna Kramling's father, by the way. Bellon is playing black in this particular position. Oh no, he's on the white side against Larsen in Las Palmas, 1976. Sikorski Bronstein as well. So this book is actually a far better book than I ever imagined. It really is. Advanced variation, Panov attack. All right, so let's look under E4, E6, E4, C6, D4, D5 various. Knight C3. And he goes, the bizarre B5 ought to be examined here. Zaitsev Gurgenits, 1968 was the stem game. Tal Gurgenits, 1968. Tal got a good position with A3. Tal got a good position with A3 against B5. Kuprechek Bellon, 1977. Anna Kramling's father, I believe, keeps coming up. I'm not sure. Isn't that her father? Have I had time to watch the YouTube movie? But B5 is not garbage. That one does look like garbage, however. or is it? Let's see, 1 second here, Paul. I'm not entirely sure what you consider garbage, so I have to actually check this out. Hold on here. E4, E5. I believe Lasker played Queen F6. Against Bishop B5, Lasker played Queen F6 in this position. And it had some merit. It had merit on 3 counts. We're still playing knight on G to E7 after Bishop C5. We're holding the D4 square against D4 pawn promotion. So, if, Paul, the opening that you describe is garbage, which it could be, because it doesn't have as much point as this one, for example, right? So, for example, John Fedorowicz was white against Boris Baczynski. I believe that took place in Ohio in 1996. Boris Baczynski. That's crazy. I blast from the past some of those names. I feel for this poor 2200 who lost his white. Ruben Rodriguez, Sergio Moratti. Oh, I forgot about Moratti. Moratti was one of Italy's earliest titled players along with Tatai. Not in that position that you described, no. Right? Nobody in the database plays Queen F6 in the position that you describe. Which is why, yeah. But on move 3, I remember seeing this played by Edward Lasker, maybe in New York 1924. I'm going to throw that date out there because if I'm right, I look like a super genius, because I believe that Edward Lasker may have played this in New York 1924 and 1927. So I could be off in one of the New York tournaments. And I was pretty impressed. I'm like, that's interesting. Does that really work? It has merit, right? It controls D4. It puts the queen on an active square. White's knight hardly ever goes to D5 to go to C7. So it's pretty interesting. Although knight to C3 is one of the best moves in the position, just to take advantage of this weak square. And then black has to rush his control over D5. So in your line, after bishop to B5, the Steinitz line, I think the only one that I would actually recommend is maybe Queen E7, if I were to go outside the line of thinking here. Right? Queen E7 to try to hold the position. Queen F6 does not make sense to me. Queen E7 sort of makes sense because we're attacking the E4 pawn. So for example, even though no one played this move here, we're already holding this square. We're already putting our bishop on this diagonal. So I don't think that Queen F6 fits for multiple reasons. What do you think? If you find your hand on your queen on move 4 in this position, you have to go 1 square diagonally. Obviously, Queen D7 loses to D5. That's the end of the road as we know it. But after Queen E7, D5, A6, it just gets a little sketchy. I'm sure white is much better here, but it's not unplayable. Yeah, no, I'm extrapolating. I'm extrapolating to a real life scenario. I actually don't. I don't think I ever think in terms of online chess. Except for bullet, I guess. If I'm thinking about very fast time controls, I don't think of that as over the board at all. On what to do about this position. Yeah, it's only +3 for white. Plus 0.3. Even though white has an extra pawn, it's not that difficult to play. So, now we get to proof. Everything in this position is bad for black, if you must know the truth, right? Everything in this position is bad for black, in my honest opinion, strategically. It's not bad for black, in a sense that somebody shouldn't play it, but this is definitely taking the bull by the horns, and e takes d4 is the only move to me, giving up the center. So after queen e7, this, after queen f6, sorry, queen e7, knight to c3 is the annoying part, and there's no way to stop knight to d5. I think it has to be played right away. I hallucinated that I could capture on d4 and get something on this square, but I cannot. Yep, white's clearly better. Can't touch that queen. Can't touch this. Do. That's Pegasus's cue. Can't touch this. Ah. So queen f6, on the other hand, is not best met by knight c3 because of bishop d6. Paul, do you have any of the Dangerous Weapons series of books? Yeah, I agree, Pegasus. The other moves are better. I'm only discussing this one as it's related in theme to what Paul was asking about with the d4 square being in mind. So c3 makes sense as perhaps the best move against it. John Fedorowicz played this way. Boris Basinski played bishop c5. Robert Hungoski, 2011. Wait just one moment. That has to be a World Youth Team Championship. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm thinking 2001. When I first met Robert Hungoski, it was like in the World Under-12 Championships or the Pan American Collegiates in 2004. So I was thinking this was around 2001, 2004. Never heard of them? So yeah, I just thought of, that's okay. So everything here is good for white. Boris Basinski used to play a lot on the, what was it? In those days, they had the Church's Fried Chicken Grand Prix. And Larry Christensen writes extensively in Rocking the Ramparts and storming. Darn it. Getting old. I can't remember book titles. Come on. Rocking the Ramparts. Oh, where are you? Barlow, Burgess, Byrne. Oh, did I put it? I put it amongst the Welch. I put Christensen in here because these were biographical. No. All right, this is starting to bother me now. Christensen, Colin Crouch. Oh, there it is. Storming the Barricades and Rocking the Ramparts. Two very interesting bio books, which are really great. Decent covers. Gambit Publishing. Lessons in Attacking Chess from a Top American Grandmaster. I'm not sure which one came first. I'm trying to remember whether it was Rocking the Ramparts. I think Storming the Barricades came first. Larry Christensen, by the way, is one of the few grandmasters who was never an international master or a FIDE master. He went from untitled to grandmaster in one go. He went from untitled to grandmaster in one go. I need to set up another reward. I want to do the games of the top 3 players of a U.S. championship. Maybe I should just do the top 2 players of a U.S. championship. U.S. championship winners games. That'll be easier. Because Larry Christensen tied with Reshevsky and Yasser Seirawan in 1981. Hold on, let me look. 1981, Larry Christensen, Sammy Reshevsky got his 8th, I believe, U.S. championship tie. All right. I better organize my book better in this place. It's very, very bothersome. Here it is. Unfortunately, I'm missing a book. $15 gifted subs for an entire U.S. championship. I mean, for an entire World Championship match. That's what I should do. That Topolov was a lot of games. Let's see here. The cross table here. This is Walter Brown, Larry Christensen, and Djindjiashvili. This was 1983. Here's 1981. 1981 U.S. Chess Championship. These books were written by Larry Christensen. Picture of a young Larry Christensen here. He is easily one of my favorite players. Originally, when I first started out, before I moved to the East Coast, Nick DeFermian was one of my favorites. So here's 3 photos of Sammy Reshevsky, a very young Grandmaster Joel Benjamin with hair, and Lubos Kavalek, also known as Lubomir Kavalek. And I went through all of these games. Robert Byrne played, had a great relationship and friendship with Grandmaster Robert Byrne. We were always supposed to go to his favorite French restaurant on the Upper East Side, which was Bistro du Nord. I eventually got there for lunch on a particular day. I cannot remember at what moment I did, but it was a lovely place. Grandmaster Walter Brown and I were also very good friends. I worked with him on the Walter Brown Blitz Chess Association, also known as the World Blitz Chess Association. When we referred to it as the WBCA, I ran the events at the Marshall Chess Club under the WBCA banner and flag. They have a picture of Benko in here, also a good friend from the old days. There are many games in this book that do not have annotations. I wonder if we can amend that. Putting out a better book, annotating all of the games. Like, are these games only the games from the articles that appeared in Chess Life? That's what I'm wondering. So let's see here. The winners of 1980, 81. Oh, the 1981 U.S. Open. Never mind. The tournament series. It tells you the games. There's no cross table here. Oh, there it is. Found it. So it was only Brown and Sirwan that won the 1981 U.S. Championship. So it must be the 1980 U.S. Championship. The 1980 U.S. Championship must be the one. And I do not have that one. Dude. Time to get on Amazon. That's it. Enough said. Time to get on the shtick with Amazon. So Jesse February is a Twitch streamer. I don't actually know how to find her. I'm gonna actually have to look it up to make sure that I get her name correct. Oh, she's streaming. All right, let's raid Jesse February on her birthday. Quick. And that way, she'll know that we're thinking about her. Wish her a happy birthday. Paul 184, thank you so much. Cheers. Please enjoy Jessie. She is a great streamer. She works very hard. She's working on it. Have a great afternoon, Pegasus. Thank you for the gifted sub, MD Knight. I'm adding MD Knight to the legends of the stream. He's always gifting subs. Pegasus, certainly as the #1 gifted bits leader, should also be there. It is coffee time indeed. Cheers, everyone. Have a great day. Please be sure to wish Jesse February a happy birthday from MCD. Or if you have any emotes to use, you can definitely do that too. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Cheers. I think my favorite emote lately has been this one. The Dojo emote. Ciao.